Have you ever wondered how much money you need in retirement? Well, today I'm going to break down how much is needed to comfortably retire on $10,000 per month. Everybody, I'm Justin Ancona with Legacy Wealth Advisors, and our goal is to educate and guide families to steward their wealth for generations. All right, so getting into this, we'll look at a couple that we'll call Jane and John. And so both Jane and John, they're 65 years old, and they are looking to retire this year. And so we'll put retiring this year. And both of them do have Social Security. And so we want to look at how that Social Security is playing in to their goal of $10,000 per month. So they've got a goal here, let's put this on first, of $10,000 per month or $120,000 per year is what they're looking to spend all in. So that includes their travel, their health care, their basic expenses. Now, to sort of break out and figure out how much does John and Jane need to retire, we want to figure out how much they're going to need to be pulling out from their portfolio each year. So let's start with what's coming in, what is coming in for them. So they have Social Security coming in. They both have Social Security. John, at full retirement age, he's getting $35,867. Now Jane, her full retirement age, she is receiving $28,178. Now since they're both 65, what we'll look at here, and later on I'll show you inside of our software where we see the impact of delaying their Social Security to age 67 rather than taking it at 65. But for now, we're going to assume that they're going to retire now and take Social Security. And since they're retiring now and taking it early, they will have a reduction in the amount that they get from Social Security. So taking it early, their reduction brings them down to, John is actually going to receive, at 65, he's going to receive $32,280 for the year. And Jane, she's going to receive, that reduced amount is down to $25,361. And by taking it early, they have a permanent reduction for life. So they're locking in that reduced amount. Now the two of them combined, the total Social Security that they're receiving is $57,641. So that $57,641, when we look at that, that's a pre-tax amount. Now there's a certain amount of Social Security that's taxed, depends on your income and certain thresholds. We're gonna assume that 15% there is going to be the effective rate that they're being taxed for Social Security. So if we assume a 15% tax rate on that $57,000, this leaves them with $48,994 is what they're receiving, and a monthly amount that would come out to is $4,082 is what they're going to receive per month. So now we know what's coming in, and we've got to look at what is the difference now that they're having to take out from the portfolio. So we just take the $10,000 minus that $4,082, and what they need is $5,918 per month, or $71,016 from their portfolio. Now again, this is a pre-tax amount that we're looking at. So for this example, for John and Jane, I'm going to assume that their tax rate is 25%. So we have to add on, in what we're actually taking out from their portfolio, we have to add that in because this currently does not include the tax taken out. So what we want to do here is we want to divide that by 75% since they're being taxed at 25, and this would bring their portfolio withdrawals up to $94,688. So that is the amount that they would need to take out of their portfolio to get to that $10,000 per month withdrawal when we look at the Social Security that's coming in, and then also what they have in their investments to get to that $120,000 per year, roughly. These are with this 25% and 15% tax rate. Now, what we want to look at is, and in a little bit we're going to compare this with the software and see how it matches up. But I want to see if we need this amount in 1 year, what would be an amount that we would need to retire if we were getting this every year during retirement. So a general rule is a 4% rule of what you can take out of your portfolio. So what I want to do is I want to divide this $94,688, I want to divide that by 0.04, so for 4%. So what we get when we do that for a 4% withdrawal is roughly 2.3 million. So what this is telling me is that in order to get this amount per year in withdrawals, or 120,000 per year after tax spending, I would need to have, or Jane and John would need to have 2.3 million in investments to sustainably take out from their portfolio to meet that expense or that budget. So that answers our question, how much do we need, when we're just kind of doing a back of the napkin calculation. Now I want to jump into our planning software and show you what it looks like in here and see how it compares. So here we are, we've got John and Jane. We're looking at both of them retiring at age 65 here in 2024, and we're looking for the money to last for 30 years in retirement. So we're planning till their early to mid 90s. And when we look at the goal, we've got that 10,000 per month budget, or 120,000 per year, having that for the next 30 years. And then what I've done here is I've put in, we have that Social Security, that's the reduced amount, the 65, what they would receive when they're age 65, so less than their full retirement benefit at age 67. 32,000 and 25,000 is what is coming in and adding towards that goal that they have, or funding that goal that they have. And then we've put in here that they've got 2.3 million between their 401ks and a trust account. They've got 2.3 million in assets. So this is what they've got. They've got a home, they've got debt on the home, and their net worth's at 2.7 million. But I want to jump ahead and show you what it looks like in terms of the withdrawals, the success rate, the retirement framework, and get into that a little bit more. So when we come here to the retirement framework, first of all, when we look at where this puts them, they're in this confidence zone, in the green zone, 88% success. So that's looking at if we're to have average returns from now until the end of their plan, they're going to be in good shape. And when we look at inside the retirement framework here, this is looking at the withdrawals that they have. So again, just to reiterate what we're looking at, they've got a need of 120,000. They've got 56,000 that's coming in as a pre-tax amount. That leaves a gap of 63,000 plus what we're estimating in taxes. So that's what we did on that back of the napkin calculation. We did the tax calculation in there. The software is calculating that for us and saying about 33,000. And here we see portfolio withdrawals of about 96,000, pretty much right on track to what we were looking at. And we've got a withdrawal rate of just over 4% in that first year of retirement. And when we come down here, I always like to look at what is their average rate of withdrawal over the course of retirement. And we'll see here, it's right down closer to 4% when we look at that long-term average withdrawal rate. And so if they're taking out 4% and the portfolio is maybe on average growing at 6%, the portfolio is maintaining itself and maybe even growing a little bit on top of it. We do factor in inflation at 2.2%, and so the portfolio is really maintaining itself over time. Now, one other thing I want to look at is if we were to take Social Security later, if we take it at 67 instead of 65, and see how that impacts the plan. Now, what we'll see is there'll be 2 years where we're making higher withdrawals from the plan, but then starting at age 67, we'll have a higher Social Security benefit for the rest of our life. So here we go. So we're updating this down here, the Social Security. Right now it's at 65. I'm going to update this to age 67, full retirement age for both of them. It actually might be 66 and a few months for them. And so we made that update. Here we go, 66 and 10 months for both of them is what we're looking at. And we see that benefit, that higher benefit of $35,000 and $28,000 that's coming in for each of them. And what happened here is our success rate went from an 88% to a 90%. The biggest reason for that is because we've got that higher benefit coming in for life. And one thing that higher benefit will do is it helps offset longevity risk. If Jane and John are to live past their early to mid 90s, if they're really in their mid to late 90s, having that higher Social Security benefit for longer will really help them out. Once again, I'm Justin Ancona with Legacy Wealth Advisors, and we really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos going forward. As always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.